Welcome back, folks. We are live again here at Live Reality Games, streaming live on Facebook and, of course, on YouTube. Thank you so much for checking us out tonight. We just got done celebrating our 500 likes on Facebook. So thank you all for tuning in tonight and watching with us still. We are here covering Survivor CNU. We are joined by host Destiny. Destiny, how are you?
Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a good day. Congrats on 500.
Woo!
Yay.
We had some very special giveaways, too. If you were watching during the live stream, we gave away these cute little keychains. They say Live Reality Games, and they're amazing looking. Kingsway Crafting Company. Check them out on Facebook or on Instagram. And then still, we have a contest going on for that video. If you comment with your favorite live reality game, whatever, either it be your favorite season, your favorite player, your favorite moment from live reality games, you will be entered to win one of these buffs. And these are like the sturdy buffs. These are the nice ones that go over my head and go like that. They're perfect for Pride coming up, so celebrating June, of course. And then, of course, any other occasion. Like you can wear them as a headband, as a neckband, or armband, or not a rock band, though. You can't wear them as a rock band. Well, I guess you could put it over a rock, I guess. But anyway, terrible puns aside, we are joined again with Trevor, the host of CNU. Trevor, how are you tonight?
Very well, very well. Excited to talk more Survivor CNU, getting in for this, starting to really get into deep water with this second season.
And I really think so. Like this third episode, especially, Destiny, I think you agree with me, is really like outstanding in player perspective, gameplay. Quick recap of episode 3. What did you think? Really cool?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. And if you haven't turned in yet and you haven't watched it, there is still time to catch up. We're not too deep where you're lost. Turn in. You want to see it. This is well done. It keeps my attention for the entire time, and that's hard to do. So watch it.
We are also joined by one special guest tonight. If you have not watched and you don't want a spoiler, and like I said, this is pretty early in the season, so it's okay to get a little spoiled, catch up, and then see where we're going from here. We are joined tonight, ready for it, from eliminated third in the season is John. John, welcome.
How are you guys?
Very well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Beautiful day out, raining, all that jazz.
So, we'll just kind of start from episode 2 and fill us in about your thoughts too. I'm going to bring up my notes because I was still cleaning up after the celebration. I got confetti all over the place and everything. We did a slide puzzle. So if you have not checked out the video yet, make sure you check out and apply for the contest. But now I'll pull up the notes. Destiny, what did you think episode 2? Actually, John, what was your experience joining this like Survivor thing? How did you find out about it? How did you get hooked?
Oh, this was a wonderful experience. I enjoyed every bit of my time on there. I got hooked when it was what was it again? The fair, the club fair. I forget what it's called. But saw they're having Survivor. I've watched Survivor many seasons, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be part of Survivor. My cousin was actually part of Maryland's version of Survivor.
Oh.
Yes, was he?
Yeah.
No, he's going to be a part of it. He's going to be a part of it.
Oh, he's going to be a part of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Forgot if they filmed that season yet.
What were your thoughts like when you entered the room and like you saw all these people? Did you know some of them? CNU is a smaller-ish college. You know of people, but you don't actually have met them. What did you think?
This was my first semester of college, so I didn't really actually know anyone. I thought my team was amazing when I first met them. We immediately came up that we were going to be the Scooby White Gang. It was like the best. One of our teammates named Shaggy just looked like Shaggy. It was phenomenal. I also thought it was stiff competition. I was like looking at everyone, I'm like, those are some smart, witty people out there.
We have someone in the chat already. Robert, thanks for chiming in. Destiny is my favorite LRG player.
Woo! I think I have the best LRG quote too, but that's not biased by any sense.
Robert, if you want to enter our contest for one of these amazing buffs, go to that last video we just posted and post it there. You'll be entered to win one of those amazing things. We appreciate your comments here all the time. But I want you to win if possible. So that's like the only stipulation. I'll post it to the top of the page in a little bit once we get done with this live. But still, John, bringing it back to episode 1, we had that quick little relay with the ping pong balls and the dominoes. What did you think? Were you kind of nervous about going into it, or?
I was nervous for every challenge. Like, you don't know whether you're going to win or lose, and if you lose, one person's out. This challenge was played to, I think, all of our team members' strengths, really. For me personally, my strength was accuracy.
Yeah,
but,
and then even your team like won the challenge the first round.
I was
yeah, you were still like in gameplay mode though. Like you wanted to know who people wanted out and everything on episode 1.
Yeah, that was my ultimate downfall.
So I actually have a question about that.
Yeah.
So your episode 1, we see you go. So if we lost, what would we do? You asked this question. And then later, we see you go. Why would anyone ask us who we're going to vote out if we won? There's no point in even talking about it. So you start it. And then when somebody else does it, now it's like, hey, what was your strategy there?
That was my naive self. I thought, you know what? Maybe see where people would vote.
Sure, just
see
to
if
try
I
to
was
get it
on the
started.
card. That was me being very, very naive. And that was not a strategy that I think I will ever want to do again.
It definitely was funny seeing it kind of play out. We got to see it in the beginning. We talked about it last week. We're like, this guy's ready to play, and it's going to bite him in the butt because they're not even going to tribal. Why is he so upset? And they're not even there yet. And then the next part, you see it, and it's a little bit later in the episode, but it bites Abby in the butt. And you are you are not impressed with her asking about who is going to be voted out when you had just done the same strategy. So it was very interesting to see it come kind of full circle when you're like, no, girl, that's not how we play the game. What are you doing?
I think at that point, I was like, I made a mistake by saying it first. I'm going to just try to just blame it on Abby there. Say, I didn't actually say that. I'm going to just brush that aside. It wasn't me. But yeah, it did come full circle. Bit me in the butt.
And you did have people backing you up because people told you it happened. Nobody told Abby it happened, which was very funny. She was kind of, at least not that we got to see. She was in blind in that conversation where you had people come to you very quickly and was like, hey, bro, let me tell you what was being said when you missed out on this. So you did have kind of a cool group of people who was trying to work with you.
Yeah.
So it was fun to see just kind of the difference in dynamic there.
And definitely with the multiple tribes being there, we're interacting with them on a daily basis. We can have more inter-tribe. We can just talk. Not inter-tribe, outer tribe. What's it called? Yeah.
Yeah, that's something different in the college survivors. Like you're on the same campus, so you're going to run into these people on the other team. It's not like you're on an island. You're not super separate. You're going to have those cross-tribe alliances, those talks, those classes sometimes that you're working together on a project or something. So it's really interesting to see how the college groups get intertwined so much.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting to see. So we're still on episode 2. For those who haven't watched it, it does get combined this week. You are blessed with episode 2 and episode 3 in one very epic showdown of Survivor CNU. Watch it. It was very good. But to break it up in 2 sections because they are very different. Episode 2 is kind of laid back. You kind of get to see what's going on. And then episode 3 goes hard. This is when you want to watch. You're like, whoa, and you're engaged. So episode 2, we get to see, and I'm sorry, John, my whole notebook to start on episode 2 is like, what the F, John? So I'm sorry you're going to get when these notes were being written, we didn't know that it was going to be you on our show, and I would like to stick with what I had. So our first quote after our recap, the first thing we get to see is you and Shaggy having a little powwow, and you have the audacity to call Lily weak and say you need to vote her out of the tribe. We have to vote Lily out because she is weak. Who the F are you to call somebody weak when you've done one challenge?
Now, I don't know the exact what I was thinking at that exact moment, but I think I mixed up Lily and Abby.
Okay, that could be it.
Oh, okay.
I was literally floored when it was said, when it was Lily is the weakest girl in our tribe, who happens, unfortunately for you, to be my favorite girl at this point in time. And so when it starts, I literally write the audacity on my notebook. Like, who are you? So that's good. It's good to know that you might have just had some names mixed up and it wasn't naturally what you were feeling. And then as it progresses, I think every single member on your tribe clocks you as being sketchy. You, unfortunately, you are caught idol hunting with a player from another tribe very early on.
Who's Colin Bunn?
Colin Bunn.
Yes.
Like instantly, they're like, people are looking for idols, like John and Colin, who aren't on the same tribe, and you're just like, how it was expressed, it was like you guys were frolicking through the woods together, like looking for an idol with no case.
Hours upon hours. Like, John, how much time did you really spend looking for this idol?
Not that long.
So it sounds like Colin did more of the searching than you did. Okay.
In the grand scheme of things, what's not very long? Like, not very long to me is 7 minutes.
3 hours.
A day or a week?
A week.
Wait, okay.
I was kind of more going on the 3 hours a day.
It was 3 hours a day?
It was more like an hour a day, but
how
one
big
day I
is your
spent 3 hours. Not very big.
It's not that big.
I looked in every wrong spot.
I don't know the square footage of our campus, but yeah. Oh, and I also just want to put this out there. I have, at least for when I did my seasons, I always had the rule of it's on campus. It's not on like east. It's not like across the road where there's like apartment buildings. It's not there. It's always on main campus or like residence halls connected to main campus. So even you're basically taking out like another chunk that's technically part of campus, but it's just like across the street.
I mean, you have to hide them good. As I was watching and they were searching for these idols, I'm like, there are like people have to be like, what the heck are these crazy fools doing? And if they find it themselves, you can't just have it like out in the open because somebody else could find it who's not in the game. And you're like, who got the idol? And they're like, not us. We don't have it. What are you talking about? So that's kind of when we eventually, because coming up, you will see a player pull out and find the idol. So that comes out later, but it was kind of interesting to see how it was hidden and where you could go. I am disappointed in the clues, though. So your first idol clue, it said, let's get down to business to play the game. And I instantly was like, Mulan. They have to have a dragon on their campus because this is a Mulan reference. And then suddenly it's the freaking business camp. And I was like, what the? Really? You just give them the word business? You couldn't? Mulan was a way better reference. You just give them the word.
I was just trying to be cute. A couple of people were like, "Yeah, it's a Mulan quote." So I checked out the international studies department. Okay. I was like, "Oh, well." I think I can't remember. Was the B in business capitalized?
The whole word was capitalized per somebody else. So the whole word business, which we don't get to see that part of it. But as the quote read, I instantly was like, Mulan, there's a dragon on campus. There's like a club.
Asian history place too, which we've seen in other locations on colleges. So
there has to be something related to the Chinese dynasty of some sort, and that's where this is going. And then they come back and they're like, I'm at the business school. And I was like, really? Really? Okay.
Well, it's a nice little like one of those red herrings. It's like, oh, we're gonna trick you with Mulan. You're gonna be thinking about this, and then your brain's gonna go that one track. So I could see it as a good red herring there. I don't know if you did that on purpose, Trevor, but
I was trying to be cute.
Did you know it was a Mulan quote, or that was just?
I knew it was Mulan.
Oh, okay. I'm like, was that just pure, like all caps? When I saw the clue, I was like, I solved it. It's Mulan. I got this. And then
well, we
they're
have
like,
a Disney theme going on right now. Like, Scotty Survivor just released their individual immunity idol a few weeks ago. They have a little like "Let It Go" necklace. I don't know what production we're thinking, but it's like the opposite. It's like "Let it go," but you're really gonna stay. So anyway,
that's fine.
that's another podcast you all can check out on Live Reality Games. Just throwing that out there. Another Disney reference.
I personally love the Disney reference, so I was all excited for the business school. You know. Another cool part that we get to see, because really in this episode, we really get to meet your tribe. And you do have a very cool mystery gang is full of a ton of mystery characters to us at this point. And they're interesting. Even though you named the tribe after one single person, which had to have made his head really big. I'm still not impressed with it. So out of those players on the tribe, what was the best part of it? Who did you like the most? Who truly were you trying to work with on your actual tribe? Because we saw you go outside of it. Who on your tribe are you trying to work with?
Well, Shaggy was a big member. I thought I could trust him. Lily was fantastic. Those were my two favorite, but everyone on my tribe was absolutely fantastic. I don't think that we filmed this or if it's in the episode. But 3 or 4 days after the first challenge, we actually get lunch together and we just sit on the Great Lawn. Yeah, and that was fantastic tribe bonding. And they're just fantastic people.
Yeah, I think your tribe really like emphasized the team spirit and getting together and not even just playing the game together, but getting to know each other. And that really develops a strong sense of like camaraderie and working well together. So it's unfortunate that you folks lost because of that, because I always think that's a really good attribute to have. You didn't lose in this episode by any means. In this third one, which we'll get to, of course, that's why you're here. But I thought you, even though you weren't at this second challenge.
No, I had an obligation to fill out, and sadly, challenge landed right on the obligation, so I could not join.
It
it worked out well because they had to sit someone out anyway. So
so I made their decision easier.
We've done it in the past of like everyone can make this time except one person. I'm like, okay, well, someone's set on anyway, so. Like it works out fine.
Yeah.
Time stays. Sorry, it is very hard to work around. We see it in online reality games that it's hard to work around 15, 16 people schedule. I can only imagine in a live game where it's going for 72 days.
And they're all college students. And I am too.
I just can only imagine how that is. So that makes perfect sense. So in episode 2, the challenge is this large game of goldfish. It is something that I have never seen played before in this kind of format.
But it's interesting, Trevor, you made a comment saying that it's been played on Survivor twice?
Yeah, it's the Mixer Challenge. So it was played in the Amazon and All-Stars in Real Survivor. So it's in the real show. They had it as like you had like a little box, and there was like a seashell or a rock or like different kind of things. They were trying to match pairs with other.
Oh, okay.
Well, there you go. So I've never seen it played in this kind of format. So what ended up happening, and I think it was 4 cards. It could have been 5, but every player was dealt 4 or 5 cards, and then they mixed up in an order of the tribe. So it went in a pattern of all 3, and then they went around in a circle to guess and try to make a match. So just like goldfish. Dustyn, do you have a 7? And he would say yes or no. And if he did, my tribe would get a point. If he didn't, Then it ends up coming up with that they don't get a point and it would go on to the next person. And we got to see some very funny moments. And actually here, Sophie, I hope you're watching. Your commentary during this one made me like you significantly more. I think Sophie's bluntness and her comments of like, okay, good job, he just said that, was very funny, and it was very much something that I would do. So I was laughing a lot on what Sophie was saying. But there were some things that I had a lot of questions on. And we get to see kind of how some people's personality comes out. And Addie, or Addison, who I had kind of fell in love with last episode, I lose a lot of love for a few reasons. One, he just seemed very disinterested. He just was like, meh, like, what's the point? This is luck. It doesn't matter. My tribe's fine. Oh, no, we're not. Oh, yeah, we are. Like, it just was meh. But then he doesn't remember Abby's name. Not once, not twice, but 3 times he interacts with her and he says, hey, girl, when she has told him his name, and then he does it to Lily. And she's like, white shirt. And she's like, Lily. Yeah, white shirt. Yeah. Lily. And so for that and that alone, eventually these players are going to meet together. And eventually they're all going to come together and you're going to be on a tribe together. You're going to merge. You're going to tribe swap. Take 10 seconds to learn somebody's freaking name. It was like day 7.
And seriously, it's 1-letter difference almost. Like Abby. Like, you should have been like, whoa, that name is so familiar. Like,
and he was 1 person away from her. There was literally 1 person in between him, and you can't remember her name when it was told to you. I get it in the beginning when like it doesn't start and it's kind of embarrassing and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to ask you for this card and I don't remember your name. You can be humble about it. You can be like, I'm so sorry. I'm an idiot. Can you tell me your name again? Like, there are ways to do it where it's okay. When you're told the person's name 7 minutes ago, remember her freaking name. So Addie goes down in my book significantly. And then Colin Ray, he does it as well. And I'm like, what is it about these boys that they don't have the ability to remember like 10 ladies' names? Have they never talked to a woman before? And so it's really new to them and it's hard. What is going on? So hopefully that gets better throughout this season because I was not impressed.
I did really like the game choice though, Trevor. I think it was a good decision to have that, and I like the mixing and the talking. And like Destiny said, these people are going to be working together eventually and merge in whatever swap position. Like, this was a good time to see the interaction. And I think Destiny, you hit on it. Like, some people just rub people the other way, and it's gonna come back, I think.
Oh, it's definitely gonna come back. And I think the part, aside from just the name and people being offended, like, okay, I told you my name 5 times. It's not white shirt. It's Lily. I think Colin Bunn makes the biggest mistake that we have yet to see outside of John asking who we're going to vote, even though we're not going to tribal. Outside of that, I think we see our biggest mistake. And it's Colin Bunn. And he goes, I'm about to do a big brain strategy right here. And he asks for a number from one of the other players. And then, Trevor, you call him out, which I was very surprised to see as a host. You were like, why was that a big brain strategy? You like made him lay it out. And he was like, because the guy reacted. So Colin gives out that like he might have been giving this cool guy, I'm laid back, I'm kind of goofy, I'm not really taking this seriously. But then he puts out this strategy like, yes, I am paying attention. Yes, I am watching your body language. And yes, I was right. I got a point with my big brain strategy. Yes, Mr. Bunn, it was a big brain strategy. Until you told everyone what you did. And now it's not. I don't understand what the logic was there. And I guess you won't be able to tell us, but I think it's going to bite him in the butt later. I think that people are going to go, okay, you remember his big brain strategy? And they're going to lay it out, and he's going to get targeted for it.
Because really, this is the first like impressions that the other team is getting from the other tribe. Like, I know it's a smaller campus, you may know of these people, but this is the first time interacting in the game scenario. Besides like day 0 per se, when you all first met and drew buffs, essentially. It's the first impression still.
And I'll also say most of these people, especially I found like in the fall seasons, it's a lot of freshmen. So not only it's your first impression of these people, but it's first impression of fellow students that are either like seniors and juniors, but a lot, like I'd say at least half of this cast is freshmen. So it's a lot of people that are like you. So making first impression is big in and outside of Survivor.
I think this part for Colin Bunn is also going to go back to a clip that we saw episode 1 when his good friend John throws him under the bus, backs it up, and then runs him over again when he tells his tribe that he believes everyone in his tribe hates him. So they only get to see 2 parts of him. One, he's got this big brain strategy, and everybody on Mystery Gang is prepared for him to flip. Because you told them he was going to flip because he thinks his tribe hates him. And I just don't see how those 2 things being what his character development is right now as a player is going to be successful for him. So I expect to have a conversation with Mr. Bunn very soon. I just don't think that this is going to go well for him.
Yeah, John, I wanted to ask you. I think you of all people would know. Do you remember any conversation with Colin Bunn about why he felt Blue Crew didn't like him? Do you remember that at all? Talking, I know this is like over 2 years ago, but
it was in the passing. It wasn't really. We weren't having a full-fledged conversation about it. I think we were talking about steps forward, like what we were trying to do, and then he like mentioned something like that.
Do you remember what your logic was for telling your entire tribe? Like, you were trying to work with him, and then you just got all these people to be like, red flag, woo!
I was actually never working with him. I wanted to give off that impression. I gave him a fake idol clue.
And we don't see it.
What was the fake idol clue? Brought him to Mulan? But for real?
Yeah. Which Disney film did you reference, John?
I changed a few words in it.
So suddenly he was in the math building. Let's get down to math.
Do you remember, John? I'm curious to see what it said.
I might have it up still.
I kind of forgot you did that.
I still have
when
this.
you get to Colin, maybe this will come back to you. So
maybe.
Oh my goodness! Well, that's crazy to know. And like, also, shame on you. I love it, but shame on you.
He was
really on your side, and like hours idol hunting with you, and you're like, yeah, I didn't even like the guy.
I liked the guy. Didn't want to see him go far. Because I thought, like, in my big strategy that I should have never had at the start and should have never planned for, was to make sure that he is on my side until the jury, and then he votes for me jury.
But you threw that chance for him away by telling 6 other people he's gonna flip. And it's not like you guys can only talk to your own tribe. They're telling other people. The whole game knew by day 4 that he feels hated. And I just think that you took the shovel and you're like, here you go, buddy. Let me dig the hole for you. You don't even have to do it yourself. Push.
I did not think that they would tell. I did not think that would happen. Again, I was naive. I didn't think they would tell.
I'll also say, I think in defense of John, I think at the time he was thinking, he wasn't saying like, oh, Colin Bunn's gonna flip. I think he was saying like, Colin Bunn isn't Blue Crew. Colin Bunn's Mystery Gang.
Yeah.
No, he was.
Yeah.
But what do you think that people on Mystery Gang, when they need to go build a relationship with somebody on Blue Crew, and they have to give him something he's going to say, hey, you know what? Colin Bunn is not with you guys. But I'm going to tell you that so you want to work with me and build trust. That's not that information. They have no reason not to keep it. So I don't know. Hopefully you fix this later because, Colin, if you're listening, I am sorry. Your friend sucks. And then the next part of this lovely game, which I did really enjoy watching, But what comes out of it is we get introduced to Hannah. And Hannah in here is very quiet and very soft-spoken outwardly. And then she asks Henry, who is on her tribe, for a card the first or second round. I can't wait to hopefully get to talk to her because I want to know what her thought process was on that. So put a pin in it. When we get her on here, remember that I want to know, what the hell were you thinking? Why would you try to take somebody, at least at that point? At the end, yeah, when you're trying to condense for numbers and points, sure, ask your own teammate. When you have 4 cards, that's stupid.
I think
Why?
Throughout the entire challenge, I think everyone kept asking their own tribe members, and I don't know why. I think I don't remember which if this was a thing. I think one tribe said they had like signals.
I think that was us.
I think that was you guys. That sounds
Yeah.
like mystery game to
We
do
did the
that.
foot. I believe we did the foot. If
What is
a
the
number
foot
was
mean?
called, we would move a foot in a different direction, either left or right.
Did you have time to strategize before you started? You must have then, which good for you to
Yeah.
be able to figure
Mhm.
that out. But it was just very hard to watch it happen with a strategic mindset going in. I should want to be taking other people's cards so they have less chance to get points and the less opportunity. Why am I doing that from my own team? So I initially thought she was trying to throw it, or maybe she had some kind of connection to Henry where she just didn't feel comfortable asking anyone else. But spoiler alert.
Not that strong of a connection.
Well, I guess we'll find that out later. But what we do learn here, I'm going to share my screen here. Hannah, this lovely girl right here, does not have a connection with Henry. In fact, she has a connection with Ray.
Shocker.
And
It
this,
really was. I didn't see it coming. So
I had no idea. If you would have asked me and said, pick who Hannah's the one dating who is her connection with, I would have said Henry. 100%. I would have said Henry. I probably would have picked almost any other guy other than Gabe, because we haven't met him yet. That before I picked Ray. I do like their relationship. Dustyn and I have talked about it offline a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They keep idol clues from each other for over a week.
More than Colin and John. Like Colin and John instantly like, let's share clues, let's work together. And then these two, who have been dating for some time, I think, based on the episode, Hannah and Ray were like, we don't trust each other. Like, we're competitive. We want the other one to lose. Good luck to you. Let's not share our information.
They talk about blindsiding one another. They talk about voting each other out. And I had to ask before we came on, are they still together? Because I was like, how do you build a relationship when you don't trust somebody? And me personally, these games are fun, but they are not real life. There's not $1 million here. And if my spouse or my partner can keep a secret from me about a freaking idol clue for a week, what else can you hide from me? Because that's minute. It doesn't mean anything. So good on them for playing the game and taking the game seriously and not letting their relationship kind of dictate how they play. I respect that as a player. As a woman who is married, my husband would be dead. I would be asking John to give me the shovel that he used on Bun to help me remove, because there's no way. You better tell me that damn idol clue. No, you don't get to find it.
Like, Kirk and I have played Survivor a handful of times. Like, we've always never like been able to work with each other. We've always had to. Honestly, the first time I tried to vote him out, it didn't work. So he voted me out the next round. So
how do you come home and get in bed with him and be like, you're literally my enemy, but I'm going to sleep with you now?
I wasn't going to vote for him in the end anyway, so it's okay. Like,
okay, well, there you go. I just couldn't. I think, and that's just kind of a testament to my relationship with my husband. He would know to let me win because he would never get to talk ever again. He'd be like, make dinner. I'd be like, no, you voted me out of that game. Like, fuck you. He's like, it's 5 years ago. Go make dinner yourself. I'm not doing it. So good on you guys. We also do, because we get to see the spoiler alert, that they're not sharing idol clues. Hannah doesn't even need his idol clue. So, hey, girl, hey. She finds the location of the idol with one clue, kind of stumbling it on luck. And then Trevor.
I think she did get it. That's why she feels bad about and eventually tells him, right? Is that right, Trevor? Like, she gets Colin Ray's clue, right?
Yeah, so what
Oh.
happened? I can give like a timeline. So the challenge ends, and the clue goes out to Mystery Gang. Colin Ray is planning on looking for the idol with Hannah, but Shaggy calls Colin to go like for a conversation or whatever. So Colin's like, okay, you just look, I'll be back. 20 minutes after that clue was dropped, Hannah was at the spot and Hannah found it.
That's right. That's right. So she gets this. She goes to look. He has to leave, goes to their little powwow of fun. And then you send her the third clue because they end up winning later. So she gets this third clue, but she was already at the location. She was already there without even needing this third clue. And then she goes back and she spends some time without her boyfriend. And the part that I don't understand is why didn't she move? So she's there first. She finds this idol clue and then opens it up where it was at. You have to know 6 other people or 5 other people are like, oh my God, I know where this is. I'm going to come to this location.
Well, it was 11:30 at night. She said she got it and she like dashed. So I appreciated that. Like, that was the first time I was like, go Hannah, go. Like, she got it. She knew where it was. And 11:30 at night, even though she probably has class in the morning, like, she's dashing to get this idol for this game. And that is moves I like to see. So I really appreciated that. So
Just
Yeah.
open it at a different location next time because, girl, you're going to get caught.
now I think, Destiny, we kind of hopped into episode 3. I know that was the bigger episode of the 2 here. Just to recap episode 2, let's just go back for a moment. All right. So Pink Tribe loses and whatnot. There's something that happens, and we see Pondo struggling to play the game. He can't bear about voting another person out. He feels bad about the last one, and he decides to like be done with the game himself. So, Trevor, we saw it in the intro from the first episode as a spoiler that you even said, do we even need to go have a vote? What was running through your mind having like cast Pondo in this? Was this like, oh, somebody could have filled in your spot, or like, why did you do this? Were you disappointed, like from a production standpoint?
I mean, of course, I was disappointed, especially because I felt he was a big character in the beginning. You know, him and Nick seemed to have a big hand in what happened on that tribe. And he, you know, preseason, he seemed like, oh, I'm just out here to have fun, not really here to strategize. And when he did strategize, you know, with Nick, I was really excited. But you know, I wasn't a freshman when I wasn't a freshman playing Survivor, voting people out. You know, I can't get into that mind of Pondo. And from a production standpoint, I was very disappointed, especially because he didn't talk to me about it. I feel like if we had discussed and that may not have happened, but he told the rest of his tribe, don't tell anyone in production that I want to do this. I want to be voted out. Just don't tell anyone. But when I did their confessionals, everyone was like, yeah, I'm voting Pondo out because he told me to, and he told me not to tell you. I was like, oh, okay. So that's how that tribal council went down and everything. You know.
Here we are. You can see it. This is Peptali Bismali. I purposely don't talk about it because I do not tolerate quitters. I respect his decision to leave. I don't believe that he gets a farewell. And so this episode does deserve a goodbye, and I would like to play a lovely video with a good I heard you, Trevor, say, oh no. So I would like to give the proper goodbye to the episode. And this is the goodbye that we deserve. So if you'll just bear with me for a moment here. If it'll... Oh.
This is our first time watching this video.
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
Me neither.
Aww.
I hope you guys can hear the music.
There's a button to share music, so maybe pause it and restart
Oh.
it.
Well, you can just watch it here. I don't know if I'll figure it out for next time. But I will remember you playing in the background for me.
Aww.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't bring it to tribal, so you know it was serious.
It was serious. I wish you guys could hear the music because it goes here. But this is my true here. You don't quit in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I understand having personal feelings and it being too hard. There's a girl who got voted out and who wanted to play, and you took that spot from her. And so Pondo doesn't get a goodbye from me. He can get it from you guys, but from me, I don't support the quitters. And so in my book, he doesn't exist, and we're sorry that we don't get to eat Chex Mix for the rest of the season. And I will post the video so people can see it with the true glory that it is with this
We need the
music.
whole ambiance, absolutely.
So goodbye, Chex Mix. We'll miss you.
And if you don't want to play the game, you don't want to play the game. So I'm kind of glad that it did happen because it led us to connect with so many people that do want to play the game. Like you see it brought out in everybody else, even on that tribe, that everybody wants to like win now, even though they're down to numbers. Maybe it's because of the lack of effort and paying attention during that challenge. He did seem kind of out of it. He made some bad calls in that last challenge. So I think it really is going to drive Peptali, Bismali, I practiced, to pick up their game a little bit. Like they were on it like during the next challenge too, because the next challenge happened pretty much right after that. And we saw it. They picked up their pace, unlike a few other people in the challenge that we'll talk about momentarily. But the next challenge goes right into it after tribal, and teams are blindfolded with one caller, and they have to race around this room with chairs and desks upstairs over fences or rail guards, I guess you call them, to pick up puzzle pieces.
Yeah, it was a very interesting kind of dynamic in there. It looks like it was in kind of like a classroom, and they have to kind of break it up there, and they have to pick a caller. So there's 3 different callers. And I'll never understand why Maggie is a caller. I will forever ask this question. 3 episodes, I have not heard her speak a word. But sure, let her be the caller to a group of people. And pretty much all you see is poor, sweet little Henry here looking lost in the sauce. And that's what Blue Crew ends up doing. And somehow they don't lose, but they're like several minutes behind on puzzle pieces. John, you were there. You were experiencing it. What happened?
It was a difficult challenge. You're blindfolded. You're hearing calls from every single team. So you're just like, who am I paying attention to? Who's my caller?
Mm-hmm.
It was very disorienting because you're blindfolded and you know that there's chairs and tables that you could just run into. And you're trying to be super careful. But I forget, were we the first or second team that completed the first part of the challenge?
I think you were second. I believe Peptali finished first because I know Blue. No, but Peptali finished first. Is that right, Destiny?
Yes, Peptali finishes first. They pull it out. They're over it. Sophie took no ish this round, and she was like, "Go get those puzzle pieces, or else I will vote you out." And I'm just sorry, but this girl right here, she's gonna vote your ass out and smile about it. She ain't even mad about it. So they do come in, Pepto Bismali, with the love of Sophie yelling, gets them in their win, and then Mystery Gang is almost like right after. Like they were neck and neck. We get to see some kind of fun fighting over pieces with Lily and some other people, and it was very fun challenge to watch.
Lily almost took that girl down. Like she was like, "Give me that."
It was intense. And then Sweet little blue crew is like 9 years away with 0 puzzle pieces, and Henry going, which way's left? Which way's left? Maggie, I can't hear you. And so you really do think
he's the only one like on the field at that point too, and he's like, I don't know where to go. He's just like walking like slowly too, and he's like, oh, I don't want to hit anything. I don't want to damage this desk next to me or something.
Even on his way back, when he finally finds the 5th thing, he's like, I don't know where I am to get back. I'm like, oh my God, please vote him out, because he has zero speed. He has 0 give a fucks right now. Move faster. You're in a competition, please.
But Henry was one of my instant favorites too. Like, he is the student body president. He is ready to like put his best foot forward, except for those feet weren't moving at all. Like,
until you tell him to go left or right. Which way's left? I don't know where I am. Just awful. It was hard to watch. It was very hard to watch. And I don't even know if Maggie was telling him to go left or right, because you couldn't hear her. I don't think she said anything. She was like tapping her foot. She was trying to take your previous strategy, and it didn't work in this challenge. But they have a very far way to catch up, and they do it. So they end up getting their answer first, and then pipped Holly Molly. And then you have Mystery Gang, who's like, there were too many W's. What?
We definitely did not know it was Whispering Wall.
I will say, I remember saying every time, I was like, I made sure to say, because I knew this was supposed, I was like, all right, you're going to Whispering Wall, that's where you're going to go for tribal council. And then during the challenge, I remember all the teams were struggling. I was like, you do not want to go to tribal council. And then I think like a light bulb went off in Hannah's head of like, oh, let me in. And then she just put all the pieces together and figured it out. We were close to figuring it out. If it was just like one more minute, we have been able to do it. Right.
Sometimes that's all it takes. I will say, as a viewer, I knew that the thing was called Whispering Wall, and I've never been on your campus. So if I know it as a viewer who's seen like 2.5 hours of footage, you should probably know what it is, because you're there.
I had no clue until it came, and they were like, that wall's called the Whispering Wall. I'm like, oh.
And sometimes it's just one of those things that you just don't know. It's like, I just don't know what this word is. So
yeah, it was just not our day.
Yeah. But you had a very interesting few days afterwards. We saw some intense gameplay by you folks. Like, it was amazing.
We did. And what ends up coming, and I think Dustin's going to be equally excited, is we get a leader who emerges. And we predicted this. We get a leader in Lily. And girl came to play the game. And she does. She might not get what she wants, but she played the game. And she comes up with, and I don't know if there's some kind of romantic thing that comes out later, but we end up getting this alliance here, this duo that we didn't know we wanted. And I want it. I want this group to succeed. I want to see, look how cute they are together. Like, Shaggy's got her back. She's like, yeah, I trust him. My favorite quote of the whole episode, John, you're not going to like this. They're talking about voting you out right here. And your friend Shaggy goes, I can't vote out John. I got him in my pocket. I can't vote him out. I got him in my pocket. And I was like, oh no. He just showed, like, yeah, I don't want to do this. And Lily's like, perfect. If you got him in your pocket, I'll keep you in mine. And now I have 2 boys in my pocket who are going to do what I want. And it looks like that's the route that it's going to go down until we get the alliance of my dreams, the group of pairing that I did not predict. I never in a million years thought these 2 would work together, and I love it. Abby and Ray. I love it. I love Abby.
They were paired?
Yes! Yes. And Ray not only is like knows where this hidden immunity idol is now, and he's like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to like try to save her, but I don't know how. And he's dropping these hints to Hannah, who's not taking it. She's like, fuck you, I don't care.
Hannah was not giving that idol to Abby to save her in any regards. No, we saw how competitive she was, and even Ray probably knew that Hannah was not, but he was trying to play it off. Yeah.
He tried. Good for you. But he doesn't. And so we get this group, this pair that I just think is so effortlessly together and in sync with their thought processes. And Ray, while crazy chaotic, finds a way to save Abby. And I don't think anyone knows he did it.
And no, we saw it from John's expression there. Like, they were together. Like,
and how he does it is just in a way that I didn't predict to see. And he does it by using Leah. And this beautiful connection of Leah comes in. And we hadn't seen a lot from her. And Lily and Leah and Abby have this girls' alliance that nobody trusts. But Lily and Leah trust each other until Ray throws in a wrench. And he's like, did you know they had this alliance and they told us not to tell you? Lily knows that we're voting Abby. And she's telling you John. Why? Why is she telling you John? It's because they don't trust you. And from that and that alone, Ray not only has Leah with him, but he also has Abby, who he just protected and who is going to be indebted to him for that. And I think it's a beautiful storyline that we're going to get to see play out, and I'm very excited for it.
Just the changes of this episode from episode 3 about who is going to be voted out. It starts with one person, goes to another person, goes back to the first person, goes to another person. Like, this is like really interesting to watch too. So for the folks that haven't watched it, like, definitely go back, because Destiny and I can talk about it as much as we can and try to explain it to you, but it's just clear if you watch it. So definitely go back even to episode 1 and check out CNU, and then go into 2 and 3. It's a great pairing.
I'll also say that's how I felt in real life. Like, I would schedule confessionals and I talk to Lily and I go, okay, that's Lily's plan. And then I talk to Leah and it's like, okay, that's Leah's plan. And I talk to John, it's a completely different plan. I was like, what is happening with this tribe? There's 6 plans, and it doesn't look like any of them are going to happen unless they start combining these plans. So I was confused, but I also knew that was great television.
Oh, it was fantastic.
I was predicting like 4 people to get votes in this one. I was like, what is going on?
I think the other part that you get to see, and you have to really watch it, when I showed the body language of the first tribal with Peptali Bismali. But here is the body language that you get to see from Mystery Gang. And you can tell every single one of these people are interested. They know it's intense. They're not even sure. I don't think here at this point Lily truly knows who she's voting for. I think she's conflicted, and she's like, wait a second. I know that I want to vote out Abby. I know that this is what I need to do. But can I use my questioning here to get everyone else on the same board? And she tries. She throws Abby under the bus and talks about why are we talking about who we're voting out if we haven't lost yet? But in turn, it also throws you under the bus. And I think depending on where you were on the side, you're like, yeah, John, why would you do that? And then the others are like, yeah, Abby.
There was that conversation, I think. Who was it? I didn't put it in my notes for some reason, but it was so good that John walked up to. Was it Lily and Ray? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's Lily, Ray, John, and then Shaggy walks up. And Colin Bunn is with you as well. And he doesn't leave. He stays there. Like, bro, walk away. It's not your tribal. And it is like the nail in the coffin for you. They're not taking it. They're not going to take your little ride along, buddy. Like, why is he here? And you're trying to tell him it's your plan. Lily, don't tell Leah. You can't trust Leah. Don't tell her. Tell her it's me. Tell her it's me. And she gets caught. And yeah, it was crazy to see. And you do. That Prod does a really good job editing it. Because I will say, going into that final tribal, I did not know who was going to get voted out. I had an idea, I had an assumption, and then it was like, wait a second, did this just shift? And I'm happy for it. I'm very happy. No offense, John. I'm sorry. I'm happy that Abby stays.
I think everyone's name except for Ray came up at that vote to get out, right?
It did.
Maybe-
Every
maybe.
single name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much the Leah talk was, but I think her name at least once or twice was mentioned. I think Conrad was the only one that didn't have anything.
Yeah.
I forgot who, but Ray's name was mentioned in like a whisper to me.
Mm-hmm.
How about we go Ray? But that was like maybe
It's just one of those great tribals
Yeah.
that everybody's name gets brought up at some point. Like, it's one of those that is totally up in the air. It's going to fall one way or another. And unfortunately, John, it did come down to you.
definitely did not see that coming.
Here's the moment you realized it. You were sitting
Mhm.
there. You were expecting to see your name once. You were like, okay, twice. And this is on the third vote. And you look, and you look at, I want to say Shaggy. And you were like, bro, what the F did you do? And why didn't you tell me you did it? There's no way that you knew that you were getting more than one vote that night.
Until I was actually told who threw my name out, I thought it was Shaggy that organized the whole entire thing. I thought it was Shaggy. I knew that there was something between Shaggy and Lily, but
And they planned to bring you in on it. They planned to bring you in on that relationship. They wanted you to be a threesome kind of group there. Lily was apprehensive. Shaggy brought you in, said he had you in your pocket. You were going to do what he said. You're not going to vote him out. And she was like, perfect. Let's do it. Let's solidify it. And then comes Leah. And Lily was like, oh, I can't not. I have to get Leah to trust me again. And in doing so, she had to do what Leah wanted.
And then at the same time, too, it was Ray that wanted to protect Abby, so that was advantageous for him, too. And, of course, it was advantageous for Abby because it would have been her on the line instead of John. Like, everyone had some game to play at that point.
And unfortunately for it, you got cast to the side very quickly. And I'm sorry to see you're gone because I think that you would have had a lot of chaotic energy to bring to the game and you would have thrown in a lot of crazy things. But at the end of the day, I am happy with the outcome. I'm so happy that Abby didn't leave.
And as a fan of the show, too, John, you say it yourself, like when you got voted out, you were like, this is a true blind side. Like, and a lot of fans of Survivor look forward to that. Thinking back to that, are you still like excited, disappointed, or like?
I'm disappointed, but something that you're only going to hear on this podcast was actually, we were talking about it. My tribe, we got together this semester to talk about it. And a person admitted that was the biggest mistake of that season, voting.
Oh, well, when we get this over, tell us who it is. Send it in the chat because I want to know the tea. Don't tell anyone else, but I want to know the tea.
And then we will talk to that person when they come on. I really hope so. So
me
Trevor's
too. I'm like, I want to know. I have a guess on who it was, but like, I'm hoping that. There is a point in this episode that we kind of pass here. There's a point when Colin, Ray, and Leah are like in a library or something. It's very late at night, and you walk up on them. And Ray is very quick to be like, we just got here, but they were already recording. They're like, yeah, we just got here, and you only stay for a few minutes. At no point were you like, red flag, red flag.
I felt like it was a little bit longer because they were just talking about voting you out, and you walked in on this, and they're like, we need you to go because like we're talking about you. Did you have any inclination? Did you look to see how long your camera was recording for, or?
Oh,
it was in the issue.
Yeah.
Can you see that? Can you see how long they were going to be like, girl, you lying? No? Because you walk, they go, yeah, so let's vote John. And you walk behind them, like, and they stop. And they're like, and you're like, hey. And they're like, what's up? We just got here.
When I'm walking, I'm very like selective hearing. I don't pay attention. Unless you like walk in front of me, I won't notice you. Like I had a guy this year like yell out my name like 4 or 5 times in the DSU, and I didn't hear it once.
Well, I'm excited to see you like rewatch this episode too, and like kind of go back and be like, whoa, okay, that's yeah.
So it was, you guys did film this like 2 years ago. So all of their players who are coming on here are getting to relive the hurt and misery and pain from something that hopefully they have overcome a few years ago. It is awesome to hear that you guys are still talking, at least some of you, still talk to one another, that you still can reflect on the game and the experience. And I think the true question is, would you play again?
Yes.
Yes.
100%. I need to redeem myself.
Yeah. I do think that you have a lot of game in you, and I think we can see that. I think you just get caught so many times so early, where if you just were a little more snaky and you let other people know that you were just using poor Colin Bunn, that maybe it wouldn't have been as big as it was. Although it probably would have, because that Ray, he sure did stick it to you with Leah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I one quick thing that I wanted to mention during the talking about the idol thing is Hannah found the idol around 11:30 p.m. like you guys said. 11:40, John is at that spot.
What?
Yep.
Would you have thought to play it here though? Because you do talk in your exit interview like, man, I should have tried harder on this idol hunt, even though I was looking 3 hours a day. I should have gave it 4. Would you have played it here? Because I don't think you knew to play it.
Yes.
You would
My
have.
answer would have been yes. Even though I was fairly confident that it was a 5-1, I'm a very, very suspicious person. Even though I don't show it, I was suspecting everyone. I don't trust people that easily. I would have played it.
And having an idol in your pocket just makes you doubt even more, and it gives you more impetus to be like, oh, I'm more suspicious. I'm more like, should I play this? Like, it gives you a different sense of feeling as if playing as if you weren't protected. Like, you always have that in your back pocket, and you always think, should I play this? Should I play this? And from what you said, like, if you're that paranoid to play it, it would probably amp up that paranoia even more to make you play it.
Yeah. And if I found the idol, I would have written a different name down.
You would have. What name would you have written down? And don't you dare say Sweet Colin Ray.
I was going to say, don't say
Not
Lily.
Colin.
Okay,
Not
we're already
Colin.
like, Destiny and I get to cast our vote for protection.
Lily.
Yeah,
You would
I
have?
was gonna say. I think I
It
remember talking about
It was Lily or Shaggy. Both of those were the names I would have written down.
Definitely a power player, and especially coming from you, John, liking to shake things up. Like, I totally see that, and I totally see, like, probably the whole season with things.
Shaggy, though? Like, that would have been your downfall. You would have been here next week like, you know what my mistake was? Using my idol to take out Shaggy. Because he wasn't going to do anything to you. He did try to protect you. He really does. It just gets to a point where he's like, shit. What the hell happened from yesterday to today? We're like, I have no. He does. He tells Leah, no, we got to vote on Abby. She's let John stay. And she was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to take that as an answer. Sorry. You're going to do what I want. So I think that if you would have used that to take out Shaggy, you would be sitting here next week like, I am a moron. I used my idol. Now I'm gone. And my only friend left too because I took him out.
Yeah. I mean, if it was a 5-1 vote, it wouldn't matter much.
That's true.
Yeah.
You probably would have been like, he's not my friend. So we get to see at this point, after 3 episodes, this is what the cast now looks like. We have lost Sam, who I am so upset about. We don't even want to talk about it. We lost Chex Mix. You can see it right here. It's named incorrectly on Ponjo. We'll fix that for a future episode. Ponjo has quit the game, and that will be the last you hear me say his name. And then we have John, who unfortunately, suspiciously was blindsided out of this last episode. And it was so fun to watch. It was so much strategy. If you are a fan of Survivor and you like the chaotic and you like the strategy, watch this episode. Even if you miss episode 1 and 2, go watch episode 3. You will love it. You will love to get to see it. You will love the dynamic that happens. And I would love to see your comments on what you think.
Absolutely. And make sure you join us next week at the same time too. But in the meantime, Trevor, where can they go to see these episodes?
You can just search on YouTube, Survivor CNU. Our first season is also up there, Main Voyage. It's been up there for a bit, but in deep water, new fun cast of characters, including one with us tonight, John. A lot of excitement, and can't wait for next week.
Me too. I'm excited to see what happens. Dustyn, any strong predictions or anything? Anybody
Well,
you're rooting for?
we are kind of spoiled with that. He says we get to see these cross-tribal kind of alliances form. Spoiler alert. Bun was in one of the frames, so he's doing something cross-tribal, which we were already alluded to early. And we get to hear Trevor go, this competition is going to shake up the game. So I'm hoping for a double tribal. I'm hoping for a tribe swap. I'm hoping for something that throws this game to a wrench because these players are comfortable. We're going into day, I know we saw it was day 10 or 11. So we're a seventh of the way in. Throw it up. Get them in so they're not comfortable. Keep them on their toes. I'm ready for it. That's my prediction. We have something big and bad next week. And everyone's going to go, oh!
Absolutely. I was just going to guess a double tribal as well, but you took it to the whole another level there.
Oh,
so.
Sorry.
No, yeah.
Do you have a new player this week? Last week we were all in on Lily.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you have a new favorite player?
I am going to say, not a new favorite player, but another one stepping up real close. I would say Anna. She is so cutthroat. She really wants to win the game. She isn't using her relationship with Ray non-strategically or not advantageously, but at the same time she's not leaning on that. She's making her own plays. She's playing her own game, and it's there just in case. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be used wrongly or in effect. But it's going to be there. But she's playing some really strong moves, and she's such a great character from this episode, I think.
Yeah, I hope that her idol stays a secret. If it doesn't, Ray, may you rest in peace. We have not heard from him, so we don't know if he's actually still alive, so maybe that happened. No, I'm just kidding. Leah, for me personally, Leah has stepped up this episode. I didn't grab my screen grab of her. She has a great picture, and she is my MVP of this week. I think that she got what she wanted. She heard what she didn't like. She was not afraid to turn on somebody who she originally trusted to kind of push it to the side and say, hey, wait, I trust you, but you're going to do what I want to show that you trust me. Unfortunately, to John's demise, that's what ends up happening. But she wanted you out, and she got you out.
Mm-hmm.
She had some help. The cards kind of aligned for her, but Leah comes into a top favorite from me. And then Addie, yes, last week was my favorite guy, and he is way down here for me right now. So hoping he redeems himself and he can remember at least to say Abby's name correctly. I know it's a hard one for him, but come on, buddy, you can do better.
Now, John, I know winning isn't everything. Did you gain something from this experience here? What did you learn from this this time that you spent in deep water?
I learned a lot. I learned the campus very well.
Where Whispering Wall is.
Whispering Wall is by the bell tower. It's there. I gained my current roommate, Shaggy. Yes.
It's great that these connections just continue on
connections
in
are
the game.
formed. Yeah. And I've gained great friends. So it's just was a wonderful experience. If you're on CNU, join the club.
Trevor, any little hints of next episode? We got the preview at the end, but what can we expect?
I believe yes. So when I do the next time ons, the last part is I say that the challenge goes off the rails, and you cut to me with a face I didn't know I could make. I'm very shocked as to what I've seen. So not only is like we saw in episode 3, the strategy is getting out of hand, things at the challenge get crazy and throw me off my game. So, and that doesn't happen a lot. So
Can you make the face again?
I don't know if I can. I think I was like,
We'll have to practice it for next time.
yeah, I'll have to practice it.
I missed the face. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I have the
You
YouTube
are.
up right now. I'm gonna go watch it, and that's
We'll
gonna
get
be
that
your new
screen grab
photo.
for sure. Trevor, you look forward to it.
You got to screen grab
okay.
me. Oh,
You're
yeah.
welcome. That's my one talent is these unflattering screen grabs. You're welcome.
And once again, thanks to Destiny for joining our team of podcasters here at Live Reality Games, which you can subscribe and be one of the over 500 people that have liked our page on Facebook, facebook.com/Live Reality Games. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube as well, because once we hit 200, we'll give away more stuff. So we could not have done this without the huge community and the fan support out there. So thank you again for everyone tuning in and helping out as much as possible. John, thanks for coming on, sharing your experience. Trevor, as always, Destiny, a blast as well. Next week, same time, folks, and we will be soon linking together with the Survivor CNU page. So hopefully get a little cross chat as well with the community and kind of link up even more than we already all are. So thank you again, everyone. Till next week. Bye.